We're at IAV 2019 and I'm speaking with Karine Weiss-Jacobi, VP Business Development, Plasan. Karine, Plasan, very well-known name, very high-profile name. Company's been around for a few years now. Could you bring people up to speed with perhaps the history, the development, the evolution of Plasan, where the company was, where it is, and perhaps where you see it going in the not too distant future?
Sure. So thank you for having me. So Plasan, we've been around since '85 with more than 3 decades of providing survivability solutions. We started as a company that provides protection, like any other armor company. And during the Afghan and the Iraq war, we grew up significantly. Since then, we see ourselves as a survivability house. We see ourselves as a one-stop shop for all the survivability needs of a customer. Today, as I mentioned before, we can provide from armor solution, add-on armor, from STANAG level 1 to up to STANAG level 6 and above. We can also provide subsystems like underbelly protection from the underbelly up to the floating floor, seats, foot pads, everything that we have to use in order to provide solutions against blast. Again, from very low level of protection up to tens of kilograms under the belly. And we pride ourselves, or this is what differentiates us from other armor company, is the ability to provide a design of a hull of a vehicle from a 4x4 to an 8x8, everything under one roof. We can provide each customer we tailor it to their requirement. The hull, we design it, we build it, we provide the protection, we do the testing in-house. We have the option to test from level 1 to level 6 in our own testing tunnels in Israel. We also can do all the blast tests up to very high level of protection, also in-house. We have simulations that we're using in order to do the design and improve our design, and up to building a prototype. And then we can either build it and manufacture in-house, or we also can provide it as what we call the kitted hull concept. Is a bolted solution. It's like, imagine a Lego box, a 4x4 up to an 8x8 can all match into a Lego box where you can ship it to the customer and he can build it anywhere in the world.
You say a kitted hull, so presumably you do not manufacture a one-piece, all-welded steel hull then?
So we can do it both ways, but the common way that we're using, and based on a lot of experience, as I mentioned, more than 32,000 vehicles platform out there protected by Plasan in 25 countries around the world, we learned that there is a very high value to have it produced as a kitted hull. So a kitted hull, which means instead of welding, we use bolting. It have a lot of advantages. For example, if you want to build it anywhere in the world and you don't have welder, it's very expensive. The part that are being bolted, but very low force, and it's much easier to manufacture everywhere. Another advantage is the life cycle cost, because instead of replacing the whole vehicle and bringing back into the storage in order to change parts, you can do it in theater in a very short time by few workers that can only take a piece of armor and replace the part that needs to be replaced. So it's very easy in this regard. Another advantage is using different materials. We can optimize our armor by using different material in different areas of the vehicle. We don't have to use everything as you have to do when it's welded. And we have a lot of other advantages when it comes to the threat requirements and the levels, but this is what we call the kitted hull. And the most important advantage that is very much related to today's day-to-day life is that many countries want to have the vehicle or any platform built in their own country. And we can actually do it by shipping them parts and letting them build it in their own country. And then they can also split it to different suppliers to build different parts and bring it all together to one place to assemble the vehicle.
Are there any particular examples of vehicles out there that may be particularly well known but do not carry the Plasan name badge that you can talk to us about, that Plasan as a company have had a lot of input into?
Okay, so there's a lot, and that's exactly what Plasan can do. We can do a white label for any customer in the world. The most common and the one you probably know is the MRAP, the MATVs, the large program in the US. We also, the Hawkeye, the Australian Hawkeye, that have a very severe requirements that were not common. Then also that's Plasan design and the kitted hull concept actually. And the group for the JLTV, the largest program, we are also part of the group for the Oshkosh JLTV. And some APCs and other 4x4 out there that I will not mention this name in this interview.
And of course, as a company, you do produce your own protected vehicles.
Yes, that's correct. We are our focus in being a survivability house and work with our customers. And there are countries that we're not working with our customers, and we're competing as a prime contractor for vehicles, the Sandcat, the Garder, and a few other variants that we have in-house.
So in a nutshell then, what would you say differentiates Plasan from one of any number of other armourers out there in the world?
So we foresee ourselves as a survivability house and not so much as only a armor company. As I mentioned, we can do from providing a plate of armor to a subsystem and up to designing a hull. The fact that we have all the capabilities in-house, from designers to supporting the automotive parts, through engineering, a large engineering team, simulation that accumulated knowledge over the 3 last decades from different territories around the world, since we did the testing in Australia, in the UK, in the US, and everyone have their own requirements, putting all this information together into simulation, and then be able to do the testing in-house, as I mentioned, from level 1 to level 6 and up, shooting testing and blast protection, and manufacture prototype and serial production. Having all this knowledge in-house, that gives us an advantage as a company that provides a survivability solution. And the other thing is being able to see the challenge from different angles. On one hand, we see it from the customer eyes. We always try to make sure, look at life cycle support, look at cost effectiveness, and all those challenges that we know the customer has to deal with. And on the other hand, most of us employees in Plasan not only are engineers, a large team of engineers, but also very large of IDF soldiers, which are well familiar with the end user requirements. And when we tailor a solution, we look on one hand on the industry, what's important for the industry, and on the other hand, what is important for the soldiers. And for us, it's much more important than anything else. It's really, this is the way we save life and we make life easier for the soldiers.